Jake, when we go live, will you give us a countdown before we go live on Facebook? We'll make the Facebook recording. We'll make it exciting when we start.
You got it.
Go. What's up, attendees? We're gonna dance for you for just a minute. Everybody, just do this, right? This is what emotional gymnastics is.
Stretch out, get ready for the fireside chat.
Well, that's what is emotional gymnastics? It looks like this.
Yeah.
We
all work out together. We walk together. We huddle together, right?
Everybody tumble.
Yeah.
100%.
Let's roll.
We're going to be talking about calm in the middle of chaos.
Yes.
I'll explain what that is in a minute. Got some fun stuff for today. Jim, feeling good?
Feeling good.
Priyanka, feeling good?
10-second countdown.
All right.
Are we going to do it live?
Yeah.
Dang it, Jesse. I thought you were going to really do a countdown live. That's why you were saying it.
Oh, you wanted to count?
Yeah, that's what you meant.
No, I thought you were counting down for me. Anyway,
you even said it. I want it to be exciting.
Okay, Justin, come on. Let's
best Facebook Live intro ever. This is how you start a Facebook Live video, guys, with people laughing. Anyway, I hope it was real. So here's what we're doing today. We're talking about calm in the middle of chaos. And Jake, before we just went live, had the brilliant idea to say we should have just called it, Are You Okay? That's literally what this episode is called. Are You Okay? So this is the second episode of Emotional Gymnastics for Real Estate Agents. I'm here with some wonderful hosts. We've got Janki Patel from the Bay Area, Northern California. We have got Jim Godwin from Kansas City and Priyanka Jory from Houston. And we're going to chat with you guys. We got a few different topics we're going to talk about. Those of you on the actual live for the webinar, we got a few attendees here and a lot of attendees here. If you guys got questions, go ahead and put it in the chat, right? If you have anything you want to type in the Q&A box, if they're on Facebook watching us in Lab Code Agents in the group or on the page, Jake, if you want to cut and paste those comments, I don't have them open, but let me know if there's any good questions from Facebook we want to throw in here. We're going to start and we'll tell you the background of everybody's backgrounds later, but just know that these are three of the most amazing human beings that I've met on the planet. All three of these people you guys are awesome. You all three have a very different take on life, but the thing you have in common is a very high emotional intelligence. And I think the whole idea of this show, or I feel like the reason why we're all excited is because you take four people with fairly high emotional intelligence, or three people and me, right? Three people with high emotional intelligence and me. And we're just going to chat about stuff that matters to real estate. So the topic for today that we're starting with is we're going to get into calm in the middle of chaos, how that works, what to do. And I'd say some of the chaos that we've seen lately has to do with the election. And as I said it. And as I say this, the thing I've been telling all of my clients is I don't care who you voted for. I just want you to vote, right? So we're not talking politically. It doesn't matter who wins or doesn't win. It doesn't matter if this election ever gets resolved. I mean, it does at some point, but that's not for today. The question is, how does having an election like the one we just had affect decision-making for our clients in real estate? How does it affect us as realtors as we're going through this, right? How does it affect our relationship with our clients? That's what we're going to dive into. And then from an emotional standpoint, what do you do with that? And we'll go to some other places from there. Who wants to start this? Who's got, and Janki, Jim, Priyanka, who wants to start?
Go for it. Somebody start.
Jim, you had feelings on this.
Yeah, so I've been feeling this a lot recently with a bunch of my investor clients, actually, who wanted to get properties closed before the end of the month in October because they were deathly afraid that the market was going to tank in November because of the election and didn't want to lose a ton of money in their investment. So and they were pushing extremely hard to get all of their properties closed before the election started. It got pretty frantic.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I had something totally opposite, Jim. I had where buyers and sellers just wanted to wait. Actually, buyers, and I know Priyanka and we were talking about this yesterday, right? That my buyers just want to wait and let's see what's happening with the market. And I'm like, well, why? Why does that matter so much, right? So we've got extreme opposites. And then
for me, it was like, I'm telling, as an investor, I'm waiting after the election to buy properties, and I'm telling all my investor clients, let's wait, because most probably it's going to tank, and we are going to buy at a lower value than we can buy before the election. So Jim, you were selling the properties. We are buying the properties. Janki, your clients are buying the properties, right?
Selling and
So
buying, yeah.
it's affecting our decisions, like where
Right.
election is going.
Yeah.
It's the uncertainty. It wasn't even about who's going to win or lose.
Right.
It's just the uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. And it happens in every election. Like, I see that every election, that uncertainty creeps in and everything kind of stalls because people just don't know. And doesn't matter which party wins or loses, people make that emotional decisions, right?
Right.
Based on if their party won or their candidate won or not.
Right.
And then everything settles down in 2 or 3 months. Everything's going to be like, it's the same. It doesn't matter who wins.
The funny thing is, I don't know how many of our audiences out there that would agree to this, but I'd love to see some of you guys chatting about this too in the chat box here. Tell us what you feel. But I really think that, in my opinion, I've never been so busy in the past 1 month right around election as much as I've been now. In the past 2 weeks, it's been crazy because everybody's coming out of the woodwork saying we want to buy before the year ends, right? So many people want to buy before the year ends. So has the election really made such a big difference? That's something we need to also kind of talk about.
Well, I think that we're talking about 2 different clients, right? We are talking about investor clients, then we are talking about typical regular buyer and seller. Regular buyer is looking because the interest rates are so low, right? So if they're going to buy a home, it doesn't matter. They're just buying it for them. Yeah. And that makes complete sense to buy it before the year ends, before the interest rate starts to go up. For investor thinks a little differently, right? So it's a business. They're looking at if property value is going to go up and down, interest rate is not affecting it as much.
Well, go ahead. Let's break it down. So I would say the majority of agents watching this probably work with more owner occupants, but I might be wrong, right? I now have Facebook up on my other monitor. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I've got the Facebook in the Lab Coat Agents feed open. So if you've got questions, if you're watching this and you want to say, no, I work with investors, go that direction. Or if you want to say, well, I work with owner occupants, we can go one of these directions or type it in the Q&A box here on Zoom. And let's just assume we're talking with owner occupants. And we all agree it doesn't matter who wins. There's no way to know even who wins, who's going to affect it. It cracks me up when they're like, if fill in the blank person wins, it's going to do X, Y, Z. Yeah? How do you know that, huh? Okay. But so whatever the answer is, it doesn't matter without getting political. But I think almost every owner occupant client I've talked to is aware of the election and wondering how that's going to impact whether or not they should sell now and what to do. So as an emotionally intelligent agent, what do you do to discuss with an owner occupant whether they should sell, not sell, do they wait? How do you guys handle that?
I think Janki actually hit the nail on the head before when she said, I asked them what their concern is.
Right.
That is the most important question because you're dealing with all of their fear, uncertainty, and doubt of the election, of the pandemic, and what's going to happen at the end of the year. So you really need to start digging into what really matters to the people that you're dealing with and have them start voicing that, because getting it out is the first step. Having them talk about it, having them actually say it out loud will alleviate the majority of the doubt that they have inside of them. That is the first step. You got to get them to talk about it. And
thank you, Jim, for that acknowledgement. I really appreciate that. But the whole thing is, it comes back down to the motivation, right? Comes back down to why do they want to move, and what is their reason for moving, and what is their reason for actually buying or selling at this point right now, especially because of every so-called uncertainty. But then again, you got to look at your markets as well, right? Once you agree to look at your micro markets as well, look at the markets and say, okay, this is a Fremont market, this is what we're doing here. So if you sit around and wait after the elections, it won't make a difference, really. It's not going to make a difference even in the spring season, because everything goes up in the spring season, right?
I think even before you get to the reasoning,
right?
Before you get to the reasoning, what most of my clients are talking from is irrational. They're coming from a point of irrationality. So you're getting to the reason of it, which comes after they've gotten through all of the fear that they're going through, and then then you can start getting into the facts once you separate out all of the concern.
Did you say, Jim, they're irrational? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the interesting thing, because you and me and Priyanka and Janki sitting here, we all say, well, that's irrational. And I know you already know this, if you flip it to the client standpoint, it doesn't feel irrational to them. it
No,
feels
no.
absolutely rational.
Well, I would never say that they're being irrational.
And I know you wouldn't say that. I just want to point that out there for anyone watching this, like from a technical standpoint, is what you do as an agent, right? If from the empathy, and maybe we can talk about empathy for a minute here. It really takes a lot of presence of mind, because all four of us sitting here, Priyanka hasn't disagreed yet. I was waiting for her to disagree, but I think we all agree.
I have something to say, but once you finish, I'll tell you
Right, cool.
or say that. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So if we all relatively agree that we don't know how the election is going to affect real estate, there's no way to know. And most of our clients are coming from a fairly irrational standpoint, but in their world, they believe they're rational. And so it takes an empathetic stance where you have to say, you really have to put yourself in their shoes and say, what must it feel? This is what I do. So I believe I start to look at, okay, they're thinking that XYZ is going to happen in the election, and that means this is going to happen. How would that feel like for them? And that's how I approach that train of it.
I had that same conversation this morning with a client, guys. It was a roller coaster of emotions that I had to deal with, because I think she's pregnant and they want to get out and move. And, I said I wanted to see this property yesterday. Well, it's a 24-hour notice to see it, but I don't know if it's necessarily the election affecting her, but something is, right? It's emotional for them. So how do we deal with that, right? And this is what it's all about. Our show is all about emotional side.
But their emotions are not irrational, right? So it's rational. I see it with every election. I see different things happening. It happened with COVID. When COVID started, I had clients calling and saying like, hey, what's going to happen? I was thinking of selling, or I was thinking of buying. It's all rational fear. But also, like, what you do, all of you guys are talking about like they need to sell and buy. I'm just so used to converting people into investors. So I have 3 clients that is like, why do you care if prices are going to go down for the houses? Because we are not selling your home. You're going to lease them and you're going to buy the other home. Why would you sell something that you already have? Because I'm teaching everybody to invest in real estate, right? So I'm telling them not to sell. And we have converted 3 clients that have bought, but they haven't sold. And I told them not to sell because I want them to put investors in there. The tenants in there and become investors. So for me, it's like, it doesn't matter, because even if prices are going down, most probably they will go down. So what the heck? And they said, okay, then that makes sense. Let's go buy. And they bought it. And then we put tenants in there. So it's like their fear is rational, because I expect the same thing. Prices are going to go down because people are going to get fearful, whichever side wins, right? Because it happens. That's the historical fact. So us pushing them and telling to the clients like, oh, don't worry about it. Nothing is going to happen. This is, just going to be streamlined. It's not streamlined.
Right. And I don't agree with the first part you said, Priyanka, in regards to prices going down. That's the part I don't agree to, because I don't see that happening here, right?
And markets are different, right?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, is that we're in different locations, we're in different states. So that's a big part of it, to really make
you have to know your market and say, because like my market, 20,000 people are about to lose jobs because we are so oil dependent. Right. And Exxon has already announced that they are laying off people. So people are just already panicking. And whenever panic hits, what's going to happen? Investors are going to still pay. It's like, hey, you're losing your job. I'm going to buy it. Prices starts to go down.
Right. So different markets. And here we are in the Bay Area, right? We're in the Silicon Valley. So that's not happening to us.
You're not going to get affected the same way as we would.
Exactly. So I think it's a conversation. The election is such a huge part of it, but then it now is down to what state you're in.
The micro.
The micro markets, the micro neighborhoods, I think that's important to even mention.
And for Jim, what is your tips in terms of, you're someone who is pretty amazing at, you naturally get into an empathetic state with most people you talk to. For people who might not naturally feel that empathetic connection, because I guarantee there's people watching this that a lot of people already resonate with empathy. It's why they're here. And some people think, you know what, I probably could learn that. That might help me. What do you do? Could you teach someone steps as to what they would need to do to be in more of an empathetic state?
Well, first, just come from the understanding that the more related you are with somebody, the more they're going to be calm around you. So my goal is to have everyone around me be calm through the storm with whatever happens. And so when I develop that kind of a relationship with people, when I tell them something and they're trusting in me, they believe what I'm saying. They don't question it. They say, okay, that is most likely true, because I know that I'm deeply connected to you already. So But like, getting to that point is all about asking questions.
Right. And I think that also, in regards to that, Jim, I believe so much so. Again, I cut you off. I apologize, but I just had a train of thought. I'm sorry, I jump in because I feel like, oh my God, he's talking about that. So sorry about that. But I'm just so like passionate about it. But I'm making the point is know their profile too, right? Like know what kind of personality they have, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? Is how do you approach them? Know what their fears are, and how do you kind of nail it down to really getting to know them as an individual, right?
Yeah, I think even beyond personality profiles, we all have, like, we're all human and we all want the same thing. We all want to be heard and understood above everything else. We all want to be acknowledged, heard, and understood. So if I'm always coming from a position of asking questions through that lens, then I can connect with them, you know, just by asking the questions. And then the personality develops, and then you can start seeing what the personality types are through the questions that you're asking.
Right.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking Jim this, by the way, is, and all four of us on the screen are friends in real life, which is kind of fun. But Jim, I've known for like 10 years. We used to travel together all the time. And so Jim's one of my better friends in the industry. And when I talk fast, I do. And Jim talks much slower than me. And every time I call Jim, it's like, right? It's that metaphorical sigh. And I guarantee when Jim talks to his clients, when I talk to my clients and I don't slow myself down, I'm racing through my day. Some of you watching, I guarantee have felt this. You're late for an appointment, you're running through, you take a listing, you're going on, you're trucking through, you're going, you're on your 6th Zoom call of the day, you pick up the phone, escrow problems happen, you're like, here's what's your problem, here's what we do, here's what's solve it, blah, 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 blah. And your clients, like, they are just feeling your stress from across the phone, and you don't mean to, but like, you're telling them really simple solutions to a problem, but the energy you're conveying is the exact opposite.
Yep, I totally believe in that. I believe the flow of energy is so important, guys.
And it's so funny too, because when something is going on in a transaction and I feel like I'm talking, Jesse, to my clients like that, and then I'll ask them like what their experience was through that thing, and they're always like, it was great because you just kept me calm and sane through the whole thing. And I'm just like, I don't even know how that happened.
It's just who you are. So, okay, so this is an interesting thing we can dive into. Jonky, if you have someplace you want to go, we'll go back to it in a sec. Remember what you're going to say. When do you ask them what their experience is? I don't know if I ask my clients enough, if at all, like in the moment or later.
I do it all the time.
I do too. I do all the time. Beginning, during the showings, right after the listing appointment, calling to check in. Hey, how are you feeling? How are you doing emotionally? Are you ready for this? Sometimes, again, I go back to their profile. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, just get it over with. A high D would say, yeah, I don't care, they really don't care. But what if it's an S&I? They want that fuzzy, lovey, conversations with you, and they want to know, and they're very passionate. So it really matters. Your personality matters to these conversations. I think it's very important to relate to them and ask these key questions during the entire process. Like, I at least asked them 4 times. Like I said this morning, she was really going bonkers. Like, she wanted that appointment. And I had to just say, I'm on your side. I'm with you. I totally understand. And I'm like, no, what the heck? But I'm okay. Look, I got this. I'm here to help you, right?
It's a great way.
So, like, Jim and I had talked about it. I have been in real estate now for like over 10 years, like around 12 years. I do not take clients. I'm like Jesse. I'm always high speed. I get very well along with D personalities, and I select my clients. So all my clients are like high A's or D's, right? So I'm just like, hey, get this done. And I always tell them, like, you hired me for a reason. I'm here to solve your problem. I'm not going to call you for everything that's going on. And if you expect that communication thing, I'm not your client. Mm-hmm. I'm here because you have your business to run. I have my business to run. I'm going to call you when there's a problem and I need your help. And if I'm calling you with a problem, usually I have already solved the problem. So like, hey, by the way, this happened and this is what we did, and move on. Only time they stress is like, I tell them like, okay, start stressing because I do not have a solution and we need to come up with something. And my clients appreciate it. They say, we didn't even know what all was going on in the background. You called us like 3 times. That's it. And my clients love it. I cannot do that hand holding, like what Jim was talking about and you're talking about. I cannot slow down.
Yeah.
So I tell them that I'm not a realtor for you because you need more.
I cannot slow Priyanka. I can't tell you how much you should see my family looking at me like, I think she's going to tear her hair out. Like literally, I'm running full speed like you guys, but then there are clients that'll slow you down. And I'm not the type of person to say, hey, you're not, I'm firing you unless they say something or do something.
I don't even take them on. Like I don't fire. I just don't take them on. It's like, let me introduce you to this friend of mine. She's a better fit for you. And people appreciate it.
But Priyanka, but check this out. Because I've heard you talk about your clients for years, and I know the exact, like you are so confident with your people. I guarantee you over the years, you've had some clients that were not necessarily high Ds or not like, if you just call them like, A-type, like really, if you have clients who are more touchy-feely type, you probably still make them feel calm because you are so in charge and so in control. It's almost like a parenting relationship that like, they feel safe. They might not like the way you're talking to them in the moment. They might be like, that doesn't feel good, but like, they know you're doing, but they got you got their back. Right.
Yep.
I have clients, and I think I have told you that, like one guy said at the closing table, was like, we were so worried that you're going to move in with us. I was like, why? It's like, because every time you said like, no, we are not doing this. No, we are not doing this. We are getting all these things, repaired. No, we are not paying that.
Oh my God.
Like, why she keeps saying we? She's moving in with us.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, no, I'm away from that part.
It really speaks to like how important it is to know who your client is and to know that, what the energy that you're sending out, the vibe that you're sending out in the community, that's the client you're going to get back. So make sure that you're targeting your market to the client that best suits your personality.
100%. There's the phrase that I forget who says it, where it came from. It's tossed around a lot. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes.
It's so true, right? You're like, and it's kind of that West Coast hippie thing, but like, I'm a West Coast hippie. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Me too. And I totally vibe with that because that is so true.
Yeah. So all right. So I got a quick story for you guys, and then we can change gears in a second. I want to see how you guys would handle this. I'm on a call the other day, and I'm on a Zoom call. No, we couldn't make Zoom work. We were supposed to be on a Zoom call, and it was like 5 minutes of technical issues. I don't know what was happening. I just took responsibility. Like, it's fine. Don't worry. Let's just get on. So we get on a phone call, and I could feel this person's energy immediately. I was like, oh man. And you could imagine this is a buyer or seller. In this particular case, it was a recruitment call, but it doesn't matter, right? It could be anything. And this person's energy was like, and I was trying to de-escalate them. And the normal things that I would do to de-escalate people, because I have a few tricks we can talk about de-escalation in a minute if that's fun. None of them were working. They were literally pissing this person off more. I said to this person, I started talking about something in their personal life, and they literally said to me flat out, I'm not here to make small talk. You want to make small? I'm not interested in small talk. Like, I was like, whoa, okay, sorry.
That's me.
And it was, and the thing that was, and I think I took it a little personally, but I was more just thrown off because I was thrown off by the whole Zoom thing. And I felt like they were implying that I didn't know how to use Zoom. I'm like, I do 15, 20 Zooms a day. I know how to use Zoom. It ain't me. But anyway, I was like, it's good. I'll take responsibility. I'm sure I did something wrong with the Zoom. No problem. And so we resolved it, and we had a Zoom that night. And the Zoom that night was amazing. And this person was warm and lovely and is actually an amazing human being. And it's someone that if I would have taken in that moment to be like, oh, they're just not a good person and they're a jerk, whatever it was, something was going on in that moment that just wasn't, it was triggering and it wasn't working for them. And when we talked again later, like they were awesome. So I think it's situationally dependent as well. I want to throw that in there before we move on.
I think so too.
Yeah. It's not just who the human beings.
I totally agree with you because in so many levels, I feel that way too, because there are times when my husband's like, okay, we need to, I'm like, no, get to the bottom of it. I don't want to hear details. He's very detailed. He's a engineer and I can't relate. I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to start my day. I want to finish my day. I want to know this, and that's it, done. But there are times he'll come and, okay, so this is this and that. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. Can you just tell me what this is about? Like, you're like, oh, okay, I better get out of her face. I hate that, but that's just me, right?
It's normal for us. Like our personalities are like that. So all my team, right? So all my team members, my assistant, they know that. And still they come in and they start to tell me like what's going on and what's happening. I say, no, let's get to the bottom of it. Have you solved the problem? Yes. How did you solve it? Okay, that's all I need to know. I don't need to know the 10 steps you have taken. That's why I have you, right? If I'm going to spend the time learning about all the 10 things you have done, then you have taken my time.
Might as well do it.
Right. And I tell them, like, you want to have that one-on-one, like, time, and I take them out because they love going out. So I have decided, like, once a month, we'll just go out. You will have my personal time just for that. And it's really hard for me to spend that 1 or 2 hours doing small talks that Jesse was talking about. But I know they need it. But they also now know that I appreciate them and I make time for them. And they know how hard it is for me to just sit there and do small talk. But it's just like a give and take kind of thing, what Jess is talking about. And it happens with clients also, right? So you have taken on a client and you say like they're D personality and something, but then you find out their spouse is not D and they need that, hand holding and everything else that's going on. And you have to, right? So I have had where like, husband is like, okay, get this done. And then wife is calling and say, but Priyanka, I'm not sure about it. It's like, let's talk about it, kind of thing. So. Jesse, we lost you.
I can tell Jim has something he wants to add. So Jim, but before Jim, while we're getting to you, if you're watching this with us on Zoom or you're watching on Facebook, drop a comment in. We want to is this resonating with you? Have you had experiences like this? I'm curious. Like, have you noticed that you have people that are one way at one time, another time, and like you take it personally, it's not really you. But what did you want to jump in, Jim? What did you want to say?
I was just going to say exactly that. It's a good reminder that you're not responsible for other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And mostly how people operate in the world is that they respond to someone else's emotional state, and then you start having a conversation with that instead of the person. So imagine if you would have had that second Zoom later on in the day and you were still taking it personal that somebody was mean to you in that conversation before. Then you would have never gotten to the real conversation. So that's mostly how people operate. They either blame themselves for either they did something wrong in a conversation and they're reacting to it, or they're just reacting to the reacting. And then you never really get to a clear communication. You're just both talking from a state of like dysfunction.
So I want you to say again what you said at the beginning, because you tossed it out there so casually, and I want people to write it down. Did you say people respond to other human beings' states? And what did you say? You said a sentence.
Can I say what you said? I wrote it down.
What did you say, Jonky? What did he say?
He said, I'm good at my notes. You're not responsible for other people's thoughts, emotions, and feelings.
That's it. I don't know if you had said that before, Jim, or not. It sounded so good. Like,
yes.
Have you said that before, Jim? Is that from something? Or is that just did that just rattle out of your mouth?
No, I've said that before.
Okay. So you're not responsible for other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotion. If you're watching this, Amy, Andrea, Brad, Kathy, Cheryl, but I'm just reading off names in the attendee list here, right? Write that down. You are not, this is one of your takeaways from today. You are not responsible for other people's feelings. What was it, Jim?
Feelings, thoughts,
and emotions. And so let's talk about that for a couple minutes, because I always believe you were responsible at some level. Like, don't we have to take them into consideration when we talk about them? What does that mean?
You can take them into consideration only to the extent that you know that you're talking to that from somebody.
I think you're talking about acknowledging their feelings and their emotions.
You're acknowledging that it's real for them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start to attach to that and start talking to the emotional state instead of the person behind the emotion, then you're not having a clear communication. You might as well not be talking.
Right. And I feel that, and I feel that emotions are such things, like if you were to really reel into their emotions, I don't think you'll be able to better have clarity of what you're trying to show them. Like if it's the numbers of their of the possible offer that they're wanting to submit, or even the potential outcome of the price that they put down for their listing, right? So we have to be the gatekeepers of those emotions as well. And we need to make sure that we're sane inside of us, right? How do we keep our cool inside? How do we calm ourselves down? Lots of us do affirmations, meditation, exercise, go for a walk. What do we do? And that's where calm and chaos is all about. What are you doing? Because they're all a mess. That's how we have to think. Of course, they have their emotions are all over the place. We can't take that personally. So many times I tell myself that, right? What they say sometimes we do take personally, but how can we adjust from that?
Love it. I'm hesitant to change gears, but I'm laughing because before we did this show, guys, just those of you watching know, we had a little meeting yesterday. We made like 6-7 different ideas for topics, and we figured we'd get through a number of them. We're still on the first one, just so you know. We have not got. So I kind of want to throw. Are you good to change gears? We'll throw another topic and just kind of see where it goes.
Yep.
All right. I got a siren going by outside. That'll be gone in a second. That's my side. Sorry. All right. So we have a choice of topics. Should we throw out there to talk a little bit about cyberbullying, Zoom blues, or good self-care versus bad self-care? If anybody's watching has a preference, we can give this an audience choice, right? I do have this open. Go ahead and if you want to type in the chat box or in the Q&A, let's see what we got here in the Q&A box. The chat box here, we've got, let's see. So, this is from before, by the way. Tiffany did say, someone told me once, when someone is upset, think, what else could this mean? It's not always about me. That's really, I love that, Tiffany, by the way. I love that. When someone says upset, what else could that mean? It's not always about me. And Siobhan said, happens at times, good to learn how to shake off the negative emotions from the client. Yep, I love it.
That's
all right, so we got 2 votes for self-care. Good self-care versus bad self-care. I'm in. What do you guys think? You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
All right, crew, talk to me. Good self-care versus bad self-care. That probably means something different to each of you guys. What does that mean to you?
I started first last time, so go. Priyanka, Jim, Jesse,
Let's do Priyanka. Priyanka, how's your self-care?
My self-care is go hug a dog and I'm good. Like, doesn't matter what's going on, what's wrong. If I go and I can hug a dog and spend 10, 15 minutes with my dogs, they just take all my negative energy and I'm good as new.
I love it.
I'm serious, it's just like you.
Yeah, and when she says hug a dog, she has like thousands of them. So it's very easy to choose a dog to hug.
It's only 43, they're not 1,000.
and to get, so you guys can get to know a little bit more about Priyanka. This will be unpacked in another episode, but like Priyanka, she already made a joke earlier. She loves dogs and animals more than people. It's true. Like she's devoted her life to helping animals in a really amazing way. That's a whole separate thing. But yes, so she's hug a dog. But what do you mean be trying, like, do you guys know what I mean when I say good self-care versus bad self-care? Right?
So don't go get drunk, right?
No, I mean, no, there's no judgment. I'm just saying, like, we have days where I think I'm doing a good job for myself. I feel really good. I do 15 Zooms. I take, see clients, do my thing. I'm feeling all good. And I realize at the end of the day, I am just absolutely depleted, like so depleted, right? And right now I'm looking at my door over here because I have DoorDash dropping off my lunch in a few minutes. Does that good self-care or bad self-care? It's good because someone's going to feed me. It's bad because I work through my lunch break and I literally haven't, it's like 12:30 in California and I've been up since 4 a.m. and I still haven't eaten lunch and I'm hungry. So that's bad. That's what I mean. Like, do you guys have that push and pull in your world too?
I do. I totally do, you guys. Jim, what's Jim next? Go, Jim, because I'm ready to share.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Can I say something on that? So when I was in corporate America, they always talk about work-life balance, right? So everybody's talking about that 9-to-5 job and we have to go home and spend the time with family and all that kind of thing. Until one day our CEO came over and he said, okay, so everybody's complaining about work-life balance. Work-life balance should be different for each one of us. What is important to you? And he said he loves his job. So he used to come 6 o'clock in the morning, is working, but he would have dinner with his son every night. He would go home, have dinner with his son, come back, finish his work, and then go back home again. He said, but I feel so fulfilled. And I connected with him. So what you're talking about, Jesse, like you're working through, but you're not having a plan. If I stop to have lunch, it actually feels me like, it's putting a break in my day. I'm a workaholic. For me, going is really what keeps me going. I'm happy. I get bored when I'm taking a half day off. I'm just like, I don't have anything to do kind of thing.
Yes.
I think it's different. We have these preconceived notions, what is good self-care or bad self-care. I think it's different. Like what gives you happiness? For me, everything comes down to, are you happy in doing what you're doing? Even if I have to skip lunch and I'm doing something I'm having fun with, I'm enjoying, I don't mind having lunch a little bit later, but it may be different for Jim and it may be different for Janki or you, right?
To add on to that, Priyanka, good self-care versus bad, I have to tell you, I'm just completely a workaholic. However, I did forget to eat. Yesterday was one of those days. This morning I woke up at 4 and I'm like, oh my God, I need to write my course outline, right? So when you say good self-care, what does that really mean? And what it means to me is that, am I taking care of myself from inside, outside, right? I go crazy working every single day, eating lunch at 4 o'clock, waking up at 4 in the morning, doing my affirmations, doing my meditation, doing my workout. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for my day. Am I? Am I really ready mentally? Right. And then just battling out clients after clients after clients, Zoom meetings, this, that, and the other. Where do we put a pause in our day? Ask yourself that question. What are you doing to pause your day? For me, it's a 5 minute, 10 minutes, actually a 10-minute meditation. It's like, okay, I'm done. I need to go and meditate now. And I take 10-minute break to go meditate. Of course, I eat my bar. This is my bar. This is my lunch I just ate, right? Not a good example. That's a bad self-care, not at all. But the point is, what I do, Priyanka, what you said earlier, that your boss used to do that. I have done it for the past 25 years. My kids are now 23 and 24 or 25. Every night at dinner, I don't care where you are, make it happen. 1 hour of my time is given to my family. I do not touch my phone. I do not talk to anybody. It's my time with my family. That's where I juvenate with my family, with my dogs. I come back at 8:30, 9 o'clock and say, okay, now what do I need to do? I try to wind down, but sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
So that is my time.
Yeah, I love it. And Jim, I want to come to you because if those of you guys who don't know, Jim Godwin took how many months off life, Jim? 6 months in South America? 4 months off life. So he was running a pretty massive real estate business back in the foreclosure days, and then just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go live in South America for 4 months in the middle of like running so I want to see Jim's perspective on this, but I will say, Janki, before we move past this, because this is a really good actionable takeaway. So anyone watching this, I want you to write this down. Pick a period of time every day for you to take your cell phone and either turn it off or put it in a drawer. Mm-hmm. For me, I put mine in a drawer because if I even see my phone, it triggers an anxiety response that I should be looking at it. I look at my phone like it's a needy toddler. It's vibrating, it's whining, it's crying on a regular basis. It has so many notifications. I have my notifications mainly on vibrate, and it's still it's always looking for my attention. And so I have this psychological trigger inside my brain that I actually undid it in my head when I moved to Thailand for a year, 2013, 2014. I stuck my phone in a box for a whole year. Okay. I had no phone for an entire year. It was amazing. And in the last 6 years since then, I've gotten re-addicted to my phone. I'm absolutely addicted. I will admit it. Hi, my name is Jesse, and I'm addicted to my cell phone. I'm addicted, and it triggers that path in my brain. So I stick my phone in the drawer from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. every night. That's when I've decided that anything that comes in between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock is probably going to be okay until 8 o'clock. And my clients know this. I tell all my clients, right? I say, hey, that's family time. Janki says it's what, when's yours, 6 to 7?
Mine is from 7 to about 8:30.
7 to 8:30. And it's like hard and fast rule in the drawer, or no, not for you?
Absolutely. I actually put it on the counter, turn the ringer off, do not disturb, and it's there. So even if the phone is there, it's on do not disturb. I don't get to see it.
But okay, but if you physically look at your phone, it doesn't make you twitchy. It doesn't make you think like, I
think I want to answer that text message. It's from my client. Respond, speed to needs, lead to speed, lead to whatever, right? And I'm like, oh no, I can't do that because my phone is taken away,
Right, well, but see, and that's why I put mine physically in the drawer. Jim, but I just wanted to make sure we live that as an actionable takeaway. Pick a time of day. You're going to be okay. Your clients will respect you. You will not lose business. I promise. You owe it to yourself to at least once a day, take your phone and shut it off.
I actually set that expectation with my clients, guys. I actually tell them. This is my family time. This is the time I take, and that's it. And they respect.
I tell my clients, like, if I'm not answering, I'll answer 24 hours, right? But if I'm not answering, I am doing something more important, which is most probably a dog, or I'm with a client that needs me more than you need me. I will call you back. So, and my clients are used to, like, they know. If they text me, they call me, I will answer. But if I'm not answering, they won't bother me. And then first thing they will answer, they ask when I call, say, are your dogs okay? I say, yep. Or like, no, I was at the vet, or this dog was sick, or something like going on. So I don't have a set time. But any time of the middle of the day, if I need to stop to take care of my dogs, we do. I have left a client on the side of the road because I got a call about a dog that was hit by a car. And said, you need to get out right now. My assistant's going to call you the taxi, but I need to go pick up that dog. And they got out, and I left them there. And next morning when they called, say, is dog alive? I was not expecting to hear back from them. And I was like, yes, we had to amputate her leg, but I'm so sorry, yesterday I had to do that. And the husband said, if you hadn't done what you had done, we would have thought you or fake because you rescue dogs and that's why we selected you.
And that's what I'm going to say, Priyanka. So someone just put a note. Kathy just put a note in the chat. She says, "Love that for family time." So Priyanka, her family are the dogs. Truly, like your family is your dogs. For me, my family are my children, my actual family, my wife, and I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And so I actually tell my family. By the way, those of you who are going to take this task on, tell your family for an extra accountability when your time is. My wife and my kids know. My 2 and a 5-year-old don't really know time yet, but like they know at night, phone goes in a drawer, and my 5-year-old will call me out. He'll be like, "Dad, why are you on your phone?"
Same here. My 24-year-old calls me out and says, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
A 24-year-old, like they're addicted to Instagram, you guys. Come on. That's the one holding me accountable, saying, Mom, you got the phone. Come on, let's put it down.
So Jim, what about you, man? What's your take on this? Good self-care, bad self-care?
So you guys are touching on a really important piece of it, is that like the type of self-care that you pick makes no difference. It makes zero difference what it is that you do for self-care. The difference is that it's non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. It has to be non-negotiable. It has to be a boundary that is set and never broken. You know, and until like you set that boundary with yourself and for yourself, you're not optimizing the point of it, which is to disconnect and get back to like a baseline.
I love that. So let's list off before we run out of time here, because we got to the top of the hour. What are our non-negotiables? Because some people watching this probably already have some non-negotiables, but I've used that term before, Jim, and I love that term. What are your non-negotiables? Because I have 2 non-negotiables. And then I want to hear Jim's non-negotiables. Janki, Priyanka, I guarantee you have some non-negotiables. Mine is exercise first thing every morning, and phone in the drawer 6 to 8 p.m. at night. And then I pretty much take the weekends off these days. But that's not really a non-negotiable. That's still flex. But like on the days where I violate my non-negotiables, if I work through that early morning exercise time or sleep past it, or in the days where I take my phone out of the drawer because I'm like, well, I just got to do this one thing and I'm going to do it, and I tell my family and I do it, I feel stressed and I never reset. So those are my non-negotiables, plus a 30-minute break for lunch, which I violate all the time. And on the days where I take a 30-minute break, do you guys, can I tell you a secret? Ready for this?
Sure.
Normal people take lunch breaks.
I know, right?
They're not normal.
Jim, can I tell you something? We're not normal. We're not normal.
There's my takeout. I got to eat it still. I worked through my lunch break, but anyway, I have it on my calendar. It literally says lunch break, 30 minutes. But so it should be a non-negotiable. And I'm telling the Facebook audience right now, Lab Coat Agents audience, I'm committing to taking my lunch break. So exercise first thing in the morning, 30-minute lunch break minimum, phone in a drawer 6 to 8 p.m. Those are my 3 non-negotiables. Who wants to go next? What are your non-negotiables?
I get up and exercise in the morning. Affirmations when I get out of bed, before I do anything else, before I look at my phone, before I check email, before you do anything, set the mind right by affirming what the day is going to be for yourself.
Love it.
And then I read. I have a 2-year-old, so I read to my son every night. So at his bedtime, I'm there reading for him every single night.
Love it. That's amazing.
Janki or Priyanka, what about your non-negotiables?
Well, my non-negotiables is affirmations, for sure, just like Jim said, meditation, 1 day off, got to make it happen. Ever since I went to that hospital visit, it's been like, okay, 1 day off, a weekend day possibly, and dinner time with family. It just rejuvenates you. You know, when you do this, you're like, you will see your energy just change, and you're just like so productive that you'll be like, oh my God, where did this energy come from? You know, because you're doing this.
I love it. Priyanka?
Mine is my dogs and my seniors, but I'm not structured like you guys. So it happens throughout the day. So it's like, hey, I'm taking a break. I'm going and playing with my dogs, or my dogs are coming in and they need attention. So everything stops. Even if I'm on the phone, whatever is going on, it stops. Same thing with my seniors. Any senior, like they call us like, hey, somebody's having a bad day. They're not feeling good, or they want to talk to you. Everything drops. My clients know that. It's like, hey, just got a call, going to Acorn because I have to go and play bingo with them, or I have to go play whatever, right? Cards with them. So between dogs and my seniors, and I think that's why I get so many breaks throughout the day, that I don't feel like that I have to have that structured break, because my day is just broken up in so many different points by dogs and my seniors.
I was just going to say that it's really interesting, the different takes on this, where like if you're watching this thinking, how do I make this work in my life? If you're a structure person, put some structure in me. I am a structure person, but I need the structure, or else it doesn't happen. Like if I don't make it like 6 to 8 p.m. every day, it literally wouldn't happen. So for those of you with little kids, highly recommend a schedule. It really helps. Not your kids, you on the schedule. Even that's a whole separate conversation. For Priyanka, if people don't know what you're doing with seniors, what do you mean seniors? Like I know what you're talking about. What do they mean seniors?
I have assisted living that we take care of elderly people who need assistance. So most of them are like, really, really away from their family. We are their family. And they have become like my kids that I take care of, just like I take care of my dogs. It's kind of similar. So.
I remember when you started getting into managed care, senior facilities, mainly it was from an investment standpoint, right? It was a good vehicle for investment. You own the property, you run the business. It seems like it obviously evolved beyond that. Should we do a whole separate take on a webinar on this thing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's like completely different. When I walked in, I just wanted to provide a roof over their head. People who have pets and they're going to assisted living didn't have a place to go. And I was thinking somebody else is going to manage it. Somebody else is going to take care of it. I'm just going to buy the property, get investment, and give them the keys. But just like I take care of my dogs, I just got personally involved and emotionally involved. And now I'm just completely vested in it. Like my life has taken a different turn that I never expected.
But I love it because it's fulfilling and it fills your cup in a way that you wouldn't have had from a straight investment standpoint. And because of that, because of the nature of human beings, both animals, dogs, and human beings, which are unpredictable, you get to have these interruptions throughout your day, which you look forward to. Without those, you'd probably be really bored.
No, without that, I think I would be doing what I was doing in my corporate life, working like 14, 18 hours and being very unhappy.
Yeah, I think it's so important, Priyanka, what you just said is, I would be working crazy hours. Like we as real estate agents and team leaders and business owners and, different streams of income owners, we tend to work so much, so to speak. But if you can just take that and say, okay, well, what is it that'll double those hours, not physically, but you still see that the work is coming in, but you're not doubling your hours. Like this morning, my coach actually had to say, where's your life-work balance this week? And I'm like, you're right, coach. There was no life balance this week because writing 5 hours a day for clients, it really had to make me real. I had to realize, what is my self-care? What is my good self-care? Where is that? And I had to dig it up and bring it out of me, right? The meditation was there because I wouldn't be able to function, really. That same thing, you wouldn't be able to function without the seniors and the dogs.
Yeah, if you take away that, yeah.
And I have two dogs, and when I play with them, I know how you feel, because when I play with them for even 10 minutes right before dinner time, it just makes me feel so good. I forget everything.
Yeah, your stress level comes down.
Right. Yeah. It's like a therapy, Right, exactly. Yeah.
Jim, you had something to say?
I want to pose a question. I want to ask everyone, if you were to add in one more piece of self-care to your life, to your daily life, what would that be?
A walk.
When, Jonky, you said you want to take a walk?
Morning walks, early morning walks. Instead of running on the treadmill and doing the elliptical, I want to go out and have a fresh, breathe in the fresh air as much as I can and, just walk.
Okay, so let's hear everybody's, and I'm going to come back, if you don't mind me go from friend to coach for a minute. I do have a question about that.
Yeah.
Priyanka, what would you add? What's your one piece of self-care you'd add?
Maybe swimming or sauna.
Oh, we can't say it again?
Swimming or sauna.
You cut out. I only heard sauna. What was the first part?
Yeah, swimming.
Swimming or sauna? Mm-hmm. I love it. And I can give you a link if you want to buy a sauna. We just bought a sauna. It's so cool.
I have two, one at the office, one at my home.
Let's do a whole show on saunas. It's amazing. Rock my world. Anyway, Jim, what would you add? What's your answer?
I would add in I'm going to commit to add in one random act of kindness every day.
I love it. One random act of kindness a week?
Every day.
Every day. I love it. Oh, it's so cool.
So just for me, like when I'm doing something for somebody else, no matter what kind of mood that I'm in, I always feel better. It always fills me up.
Yeah.
I love that. And my one thing, which is already supposed to be, but I'm just going to declare it right now, which is like, I'm going to take a 30-minute lunch break every day. When I say what a lunch break is to me, to define a lunch break is, I put my phone in a drawer or away from me. Like reading your phone and responding to messages while you shovel food into your mouth is not a lunch break, right? For me, it's literally like I'll put on some really calming music. There's like a Spotify playlist, which is like soundscapes for gaming. I don't game at all. I don't play video games, but apparently soundscapes for gaming are all instrumental, non-vocal, chill EDM music. I guess that's what gamers like these days. And it's really like just a little beat, very quiet. That's my lunch break is put in headphones, listen to something, and then take a short meditation and then eat my food slowly, and presently, like a mindful meditation. That's mine. So here's my question for you, Jonki. You ready? Can I do a little live coaching so people watching can see how they can do this for themselves? So those of you watching, take a minute and take advice from Jim. Write down what is the one thing you're going to add to your self-care routine. I want you to write it down. So everybody take a minute, write it down. What's the one thing you're going to add to your self-care routine? Right? Are you going to steal one of ours? You're going to take a walk like Jonki? Are you going to do a random act of kindness each day like Jim? Are you going to take a real lunch break without your phone in front of you for at least 30 minutes like me? And Priyanka, what was your thing you're adding?
Either sauna or swimming.
Oh,
I'll alternate.
You're going to go in the sauna or do a swim every day. I love it. That's the one thing you would add. Okay. Or do you have your own thing you'd like to do for yourself for self-care? Here's the question for Jonki, who said she wants to go for a walk. What is getting in the way on a regular basis of going for a walk right now?
Just time, and you're right. Like, what is really stopping me from doing that? And I think it's the early morning walk, getting out of bed early in the morning. I can just go to the treadmill and start walking and, listening to my music, but I will not want to go outside, wear all my, warm clothes and go outside and actually go and take a walk. I think.
But is that a logistical concern? I mean, obviously I'm not going to push you to do it, right? Like, would it be fun to be outside early in the morning? Like, I love being outside early in the morning.
Oh gosh, I would love to be outside. I think it's dark sometimes, of course now. So, I don't like to go alone.
Right. And that's those of you watching, that is a safety concern or like a mental, whatever it is, like be safe. Like that's what I'm asking. If it's a real logistical, like in your day, but could you go for a walk at lunch when you do your 5 minutes of calm? Because I've heard you say you put in your earphones and you sit at your desk.
I do. I sit and just do my 10 minutes.
What if you went outside and did it?
That's a good idea. To the park or something like that. Maybe that just gets me out. That's a good idea.
In the Calm app, I was looking in the Calm app, which Jonki's a big fan of the Calm app, right? Oh, and Debbie typed in the box, by the way. Type in the box if you want extra support and accountability. Type in what you're going to add in your routine. I love that. Thank you, Debbie. Okay. So Jonki said she uses the Calm app, CALM. There's actually a section of Calm that says walking meditation. That's literally in the Calm app. And in terms of time, because I know you like it because it's sitting at your desk, but what if you don't go to the park? What if you literally just walk outside your front door wherever you are? Now you're outside, right? So are we defining this to be a walk in nature or just a walk period? Like I get up and I walk around my building a couple times a day while I'm on phone calls with people, just because it changes the scenery. I literally have a hill. I walk up and down the hill, look at the ocean, walk back down, look at the ocean, walk back down while I'm doing phone calls.
That's a great idea. I never thought of that one. So I'm going to commit to that.
Yes.
When we come back in 2 weeks, let's see what we're at. How about that?
We're doing this show again in 2 weeks, guys. Every other Friday, emotional gymnastics for real estate agents. So you've heard it. Jonki's going to tell you in 2 weeks. So throughout the next week or two, let's post in LCA. Let's keep posts. Let's encourage Jonki. And Debbie, if you want to post, we'll make a post inside LCA. Hey, what are you adding? We'll take this episode. We'll tag you. What are you going to add to your self-care routine? Jim, really good question. And Amy just said, love it. Even sitting in the sun for 10 minutes each day provides a healthy dose of essential vitamin D. It does. Even for a pasty person like me who only burns, I take the vitamin D. I'll take it.
I think that's great. I think really thank you for actually putting me on the spot there because it holds me accountable. I love it.
I know you can take it.
Last week, I think just 3 days ago, I was doing I was on a guest panel for LCA for Street Text, and they put me on the spot saying, okay, let's do role play. And I'm like, oh my God, really? But I did it. I mean, like, okay, let's do it. Let's role play together. I think it's being on the spot Jonki kind of week. So it's okay.
It's good. But so Priyanka, Jim, think about last thoughts. Anything you want to wrap this up with? We got 2 minutes here. I just want to say, everyone watching this in the LCA and the Lab Coats community, I mean, the whole reason that I love the community is the community. Right. So leverage the friends you've made there, make some new friends, hold each other accountable. If you're on this journey of self-care and your goal is you're watching this webinar for a reason. You watch this video for a reason. If you're watching the replay later, like you clearly have something that's calling out to you, that's telling you, hey, I want to develop this emotional side of myself, or else I wouldn't be watching this, right? So leverage the people that are like-minded to you, and let's be on this journey together. Jim, Priyanka, what's the last thoughts you have you want to wrap up with this?
I just want to say, go for happiness. Like, whatever you're looking for in life, make sure you're content and you're happy. And if you have those two things, you can conquer anything. You can do anything.
I love it.
I love it too. Jim, you got a final word? Anything you want to end with?
Just that this was really fun. I'm so appreciative to have this conversation and have people get something out of it. And just anybody can reach out to me, or I'm sure any one of us at any time to if they need help with any of this stuff, or they just want to talk through some things, I'm available anytime.
I love it. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I'll come to you, John. If guys, type in the chat box if this was useful. Let us know for future episodes. I could do this type of direction, which way you want us to go. Any feedback you have. We're doing this for ourselves, but we're doing it for you guys too, right? This was fun for me. I learned stuff too. John Key, final thought.
My final thought: let's be positive out there. Let's make a difference out there. A word of kindness, an act of kindness, like Jim said, and happiness. Priyanka said, "Be content, be happy." I will wrap it up by saying, be positive, and of course, like Jesse said, do something for yourself. Make a difference for yourself. So that's
I love it. Calm in the middle of chaos. That was it, guys. Enjoy your day. Everybody enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
See you guys in 2
Thanks,
weeks.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.